everyone, good day. I am Jearrah Enriquez and I am a third year BEED-GENERALIST student. The Philippine short stories written by Joaquin that I have chosen is entitled May Day Eve. Story of the author. Joaquin was born in the old district of Paco in Manila, Philippines. On September 15, 1917, the feast day of Saint Nicomedes, a photomartyr of Rome, after whom he took his baptismal name. His father, Joaquin, was a person of some prominence. Leocadia was a procurador in the court of first instance of La Laguna, where he met his first wife. He was the greatest writer of his generation. Over 6 decades and a half, he produced a body of work unmatched in richness and range by any of his contemporaries, living a life wholly devoted to the craft of conjuring a world through words. He was the writer's writer. In the passion with which he embraced his country's manifold being, he was the people's writer as well. Joaquin died of cardiac arrest in the early morning of April 29, 2004 at his home in San Juan, Metro Manila. He was then editor of Philippine Graphic Magazine, where he worked with 1P. Year of publication. So the short story entitled May Day Eve was originally published in the year 1947. So publisher of the novel. So May Day Eve, published by Joaquin. Country it was published. May Day Eve was published in the country of the Philippines. Language used in the novel. The original language used in the short story is the Filipino language and translated it in English. Number of pages of the novel. So the story May Day Eve has 20 pages. Is it a hardbound or paperback? May Day Eve is a paperback. So how many chapters does the novel have? So May Day Eve has only 2 chapters. So where is the setting of the story? So the setting of the short story May Day Eve is in Manila. Who are the characters in the story? So the characters of the story are Badoy, Alweda, Anastasia, Warren, Agueda's daughter, and Badoy's grandson. So Agueda and Badoy have different personalities. Agueda was described to a bold, liberated, and non-conformist young woman who has ahead of her time. Badoy was characterized in the beginning as a promiscuous young man who wanted to prove his machismo. He realized that he was deliriously in love with Agueda. To summarize or retell the story. So at this moment, I'll be summarizing the May Day Eve. So May Day Eve is a short story written by Filipino national artist Joaquin, written after World War II. It became one of Joaquin's signature stories that became a classic in Philippine literature in English because of lasting worth or with a timeless quality. May Day Eve was a story about the man who forgot how he loved the woman that he loved in the past and portraying a bitter marriage. The story started with a flashback Donna Agueda was facing the mirror on Monday Eve because her sister told her to do so. Doña Agueda really believed in her sister. That is when she faced the mirror, her future lover would appear in the mirror. As soon as Don Badoy appeared in the mirror, they decided to marry each other because they believed in Anastasia. When they got their married, life began. It goes out miserable because of the fact that they do not really love each other and nothing special happened to them. The plot of the story was that as Don Badoy Montilla comes home to his old home at Intramuros, Manila late at night, he finds his grandson chanting an old spell in front of a mirror. Memories of his youth come back. He recalled how he fell in love with Agueda, a young woman. Agueda learned that she would be able to know her future husband by reciting an incantation in front of a mirror. As she recited the words, "Mirror, mirror, show me to him whose woman I will be." Agueda saw Badoy. Badoy and Agueda got married. However, Don Badoy learned from his grandson that he was described by Doña Agueda through their daughter as a devil in return. Don Badoy told his grandson that everything he looks at the mirror, he only sees witch Agueda. Don Badoy ponders began in the past during one evening in the month of May in 1847. The tragedy of the story is Badoy's heart forgot how he loved Agueda in the past. They were not able to mend their broken marriage because their love was a raging passion and nothing more. The author started the story with some sort of flashback of reminiscing the moments. The story didn't just told about the love story of the two persons involved, but also it implies realization with the readers that you don't have to rush everything, especially in love. So that would be all for the summary of the May the Eve by Joaquin. So what is the theme of the story? So the main theme of the story, May the Eve, is that love is not founded on magic, for it grow and blossom. Lovers should nurture the seed by watering it with acceptance and respect for each other. There is no way for love to prosper in proud and hateful hearts. Love is never proud nor vengeful. What are the moral values in the novel? So the moral lesson of May Day Eve, considered by most to be that marriage should not only be the result of love. The story demonstrates how love is very different from lust, and that it takes a certain level of maturity to differentiate between the two. The writer of May Day Eve could be suggesting that an individual must be acquainted with number of partners before they can recognize love from lust. Alternatively, they must be portraying that marriage is an issue to be seriously thought through before it takes place, and communication between a wife and a husband is vital to the success of such a union. So the story implies that we should not believe in superstitions as what Agueda did, that he believes that she will be able to see her future husband by reciting the phrase she knows in the mirror. In marriage, we should always consider love because love is the foundation of all. We shouldn't force another person to love us in return. Instead, do something special in order for you to be loved back. Analyzing the story, I therefore conclude that love is not to be played or to be based with anything else. It's about how and what you feel so that it will turn out beautiful. True and honest, not miserable, just like what the story May the Eve tells about. So what are the critics' comment about the novel? Is it a positive or negative review of the book? So a lot of readers of this story had fun because even if how painful the story is, at the end of the day, the man still realizes that he ponders on love that had been wasted. The story is loved by many people because May the Eve is a type of story that is not all romance short story. It is full of mystery and it signifies or it gives focus on the things that likely made us regret in life. It's like when we have everything at first and we regret it when it's not here anymore. Here is the book cover of the May the Eve by Joaquin. So here are some of the illustrations of the story May the Eve by Joaquin. If I were to rate the short story, I will be giving this 4 stars because the story will help you travel and encounter that love is not all about being sweet, especially when you both are one of a kind. May the Eve focuses on a marriage that didn't last forever, and both the couple regret it at the end. I like this story because this would be a wake-up call to those people who never value what they have. This would be a reminder that they might regret it in the future. I've learned a lot of things for this story. This story made me realize that we must never put our lives in the conviction of fortune tellers and superstitious beliefs because I believe that half of our faith depends on how we do things and how we value them. Because some beliefs are not been proven and it may lead our lives into something that we are not supposed to be in. So that would be all for the May the Eve. That would be all for the May the Eve by Joaquin.